Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be revisiting the achievement Late to the Party. I already did do a guide on how to unlock this achievement. However, I've gotten some requests to revisit this and remaster this video because the guide isn't helpful enough to guarantee people getting this achievement. So, first of all, Late to the Party says that you need to save Argo Ham from the trolls before round 4. What this means is that you need to go to the Argo Ham combat encounter, which is found in Stormcloud's Winter. Argo Ham is the midpoint in this adventure. It's that little tavern there, so let me skip through all this stuff. This tavern right here in the very middle of the map is the one that you need to go to get the troll encounter that we're looking for. Now there's a couple of things that I need to explain to help make the best guide possible. So, first things first, we're playing on casual difficulty, and that's just because it doesn't matter what difficulty you play on in order to get this achievement. So we might as well play it on this mode so that way we can make it easier for ourselves. It also means that we're going to get a little bit more XP on the way up here, and that guarantees that we're going to get to at least level 2 with 2 characters. We'll get at least 2 XP orbs total. Now the characters we're using here are Gerald Lightseeker, the Orc Cleaver, and the Bombardier. I still think this is the best party for this achievement. However, if you can get 3 XP orbs minimum, you can actually get Olok up to level 3 and use his Magma Eruption skill, which is his first level 2 option, and his Demon Spawn, which is his second level 3 skill option, and also get this achievement. However, I want to use this party instead because I feel like it's more consistent. So, the first thing that I'm going to explain is the strategy for this party overall. Now, Gerald Lightseeker has the Aura of Soul ability. This is a passive trait that makes it so that any units standing next to him, that is adjacent to him, are going to take 1 less physical damage from all sources. The Orc Cleaver has the counterattack ability, which means that when he takes melee damage from an enemy, he's going to counterattack them, dealing his basic melee damage, so 4 to 6 at level 1. When he gets to level 2, he unlocks Parry Stance, which allows him to counterattack more than 1 per round, and it allows him to take 1 less damage from all sources for the duration of this power. Now, the great thing is that this stacks with Aura of Soul, so this means he's going to take 2 less damage from all sources and have unlimited counterattacks. Because he's going to be at level 2, this is now going to deal 5 to 7 damage, and so that means he's going to deal 10 to 14 total physical damage with a double Parry Stance attack. And you'll get to see where this double Parry Stance attack comes into play a little bit later. Now, the Bombardier is another character who we want to get to level 2. Not for any one of these particular abilities, although Dwarf Zuka is better for Argo Ham, and Napalm Shower is better for the boss, but we only want to get up to Argo Ham and get the encounter we're looking for here. So, I think that mainly you want to get her to level 2, just so that way you can deal 4 damage with her basic attack. Ideally, we will get to level 2 with Gerald as well, and if that is the case, then I highly recommend Avenging Blade, because that's its highest damage skill that you can get, assuming that he takes a bunch of damage. And so if it comes down to it, you can just have him take a bunch of damage to build up Avenging Blade damage, and then you can force him to be a much stronger character and help kill all the trolls quickly enough that you won't get to round 4. Now, there's a couple of other things that I need to explain that are crucial to unlocking the full potential of your party. So, I'm going to exit out here and go to a couple of screenshots that I've got. So, this is the first possible ambush that you could find along the way to Argo Ham. This is called the Wandering Troll. Now, you see I have the Olok party instead, and 2 characters that are really good at level 1, so that way I can get Olok to level 3 and use that Demon Spawn strategy. But we're not going to focus on that for now. What we're focusing on is the choices you want to make. So for the Wandering Troll, you want to choose Let Him Speak. When you choose Let Him Speak, you're going to have the option to either give him some food, give him some crowns, or just move on. If you choose Give Him Some Crowns, which is the one in the middle, you give him some gold, he decides to upgrade your gear. Now you can also get a gear upgrade from Give Him Some Food. That gives you a armor boost of 1 to one of your units randomly. But if you choose the crowns option instead, you get almost the same thing, but instead it's a damage boost, and you definitely want the damage instead, because that's how you're going to kill the other enemies more effectively. So, if you happen to encounter the Wandering Troll, definitely go down that route, so that way you can guarantee getting some extra damage for one of your characters. Now, another thing that you can possibly run into, where is it? Here we go, the campgrounds. So, if you come across the campgrounds, you are going to need a character who is a specialist or crafter. That will either be the Zapper or the Bombardier, and since the Bombardier is a part of our party, you're going to guarantee having the option to improve weapons. And as you might imagine, that's also going to give you a random +1 attack damage. So, when you improve that, you're also going to have a character randomly get some extra damage here. So this is what you want to do. Now, the thing that I skipped over earlier, which should be, where is it? Right here is the results of a battle. Now, this particular battle is one that you can guarantee getting as long as you have good RNG with where it shows up. This one will always be on the map, but it won't always be at the beginning. This specific combat encounter is indicated by it being in the middle of another node, or in the middle of another 2 nodes. So in this case, you see this troll here, the one that follows this purple campsite, this troll up here. This is a normal node. Then when you look to the left of these trees here, this one that's in between the other troll and this lake, this one is a midway combat encounter. This midway combat encounter always gives you the same specific encounter, which is a troll breaker, 2 troll champions, and 2 regular trolls alongside some footmen. And if you win that, you randomly get +1 attack damage to one of your characters. So that's one to definitely shoot for. The other option is that you can always find a weaponsmith along the way, and if that's the case, then you can just upgrade your weapons there. But I prefer to go along the route that has more combat encounters. The reason why you want to do this is because you will get more XP generally when you do combat encounters, so that will help you level up your characters more. It's also a good idea to go to some of these campsites here, because there's a possibility that you're going to get that campsite option, so that way you can use the Bombardier to improve your weapons. Of course, that isn't the case here, and there's a lot of instances where you will get bad RNG along the way, and if your dice roll fails, you might get 0 XP for that. So the other good thing about being on casual difficulty is that we have a surplus of items that we can use. I'm going to throw away the crowbar because we don't need it here. But this surplus of items allows you to beat all of these dice challenges with minimal RNG involved, or just avoid the RNG altogether because you have those items. And so you definitely want to do that to make it more consistent to get the XP that you need. Now, there's a possibility that you run into winter wolves instead, and if that's the case, then you're going to have a little bit more of a problem. Oh, here we go with this potion here. I'm just going to use it right away on Gerald. And there we go, he got some bonus HP. So that means that he can take more damage and therefore stack up more damage on Avenging Blade if he wanted to. But that's the last thing that we want to upgrade. So if you see that you might run into some winter wolves along the way, you're going to want to upgrade the Bombardier first. But because I know that I'm not going to have that happen, I'm going to upgrade the Orc Cleaver first instead. So let's go ahead and get Parry Stance. And let's try our luck over here getting this extra damage. The number one thing that you want to do is either... Okay, well, there's a couple of differences that will make your number one choice different. So break the boulders is almost always the number one thing that you want to do, because this will guarantee you get 2 footmen. But if you have the move some boulders option or find another path, that takes RNG, but if you are successful, you will get 3 footmen on your side instead of just 2. So if you find yourself too low level, you might want to take that risk and use the dice roll instead. But in this case, we already have a character at level 2, so we're just going to use the pickaxe and proceed through this normally. And now here comes this guy, and now he's going to do some significant damage to the Orc Cleaver, but because he did a double attack, he's going to get double counter-attacked, which is just amazing. I love that. So let's hit him with this. Let's also move back with the Bombardier, and then hit him with this. And now, unfortunately, the Orc Cleaver is in range to get hit by the fire, although, oh, never mind, it went away. So that's good. So now he gains some bonus counterattack damage, thanks to the fact that this enemy is immobilized. So let's use that to our advantage. Move down with the footmen, and then this other one should be able to finish him off. Or he can finish him off, but of course he won't. But Gerald will. So boom. That's that for that combat encounter. So just take advantage of the double parry stance attack against those troll champions, and you'll be able to deal a ton of damage. And we got the best RNG possible, which is the Orc Cleaver getting hit, or getting bonus damage here. Now, I went down this route hoping that I would get that campsite and also get bonus damage, so that I have 2 chances of gaining extra damage. But you could always just go this route with the weaponsmith if it's here, and give yourself bonus damage for the orc for just 100 gold. That is a much, much better option, since you can guarantee the one character that you want to have bonus damage gets it. So now he deals 12 to 16 damage with a double parry stance counterattack. And that 12 damage minimum is enough to one-shot one of these troll champions, because they have 10 HP plus 2 armor, so 12 effective HP. So let's go over to this lake here, and look at that. This is an improve your weapons option. So that's actually another one that I didn't even realize. So now we have bonus damage for the bombardier as well. Isn't that dandy? Let's come over here, and we're probably going to get the 4th companion now along the way. Yep, and here we go. And it's the Zapper. So this is honestly incredible RNG. This is like one of the best characters you could get, other than, say, the Ranger. The Ranger is also a contender for best companion you could get for this encounter. But the Zapper is great because he deals 4 damage minimum, and his second level 1 ability can stun, and that stun allows you to set up the epic effects of the Orc Cleaver and the Bombardier. Now I'm going to move up here and see how much XP I get from this campsite before I level up the Bombardier. And oh, look at that, improve weapons. Let's see what we get. Another damage boost for the Orc Cleaver. Isn't that wonderful? So, he now deals 14 to 18 damage with Sunder. Just swell. So, here's the tricky thing. I almost have enough XP to get another character up to, I have enough XP right now to get the Orc Cleaver up to level 3, which would be insane, because he's going to do even more damage, and he gets a good boost to his armor, which is wonderful. Or, what I could do is, what I was saying before, is level up the Bombardier and level up Gerald, and get him that Avenging Blade. So the scary thing here is that if I level up the Orc Cleaver, or I level up Bombardier and hope that I get enough XP to level up the Orc Cleaver again after that, there's a chance that I don't get ambushed on the way up to Argo Ham, and then I don't get any more XP at all. Another bad situation is that I do get some sort of ambush, but it's a dice roll and I fail, and then I still don't get XP. But at least I have a choice there midway through to just level up with the remaining XP that I've got. I can cut my losses. But if you proceed to the Argo Ham encounter, right now, you won't get to spend any of your XP points. You just proceed to the encounter, and then you locked into the fight. So, you have to make your choice now. Do I want to gamble with my experience orbs and see if I can get a 3rd one? Or do I want to just proceed normally? What I'm going to do is take advantage of the fact that I got 2 damage boosts for the Orc Cleaver, as well as another damage boost for the Bombardier, and just accept that I've already gotten as lucky as I can get, and use that to get a more powerful Bombardier, and then get a more powerful Gerald Lightseeker. So let's get Avenging Blade, and there we go. So yeah, I'm not going to try to get that extra XP orb. If I do happen to get one, then, I can level up the Zapper at least. But don't always bank on your companion being that good. In fact, if you happen to get the Witch Doctor or the Knight as your 4th companion, just start over. Just give up. Their damage is so low. You can still do it, of course. But you're going to have to start over so many times to get a good Q that it just stinks. Same thing with the Sylvan Elf. At level 1, his damage is pitiful. So you don't want those really low damage characters. Now, before I proceed to Argo Ham, I'm going to try to get a little bit more good RNG. We're going to use the tents that we have. So this is bad RNG. Don't want that. This is good RNG, and this is why we do this. We have an invigorated Bombardier. Now, another thing that can happen when you use the tents is one of your characters gets exhausted. So it's a double-edged sword here. So I'm going to use this last one. Nothing happened. But say I used the final tent and the Bombardier got exhausted. It would remove Invigorated, and then I'd have to use one of these energy potions to cure her. That would just stink. So Luckily, that didn't happen in this case, but it's always possible. And look at that, I got an ambush after all. But of course, you don't want to gamble. I mean, we already got such good RNG that we're going to win anyways against this Argo Ham encounter. So I'm just going to skip ahead and show you that what happens when you get to Argo Ham. So be right back. So I just finished that combat encounter, flawless victory. So now we can move on to actually get to Argo Ham. I'm going to get one more XP orb, but just to flex, I'm not even going to bother leveling up the Zapper. I'll just use the extra XP when I get out of Argo Ham to get somebody to level 3 instead of getting Zapper to level 2. So let's proceed to Argo Ham. And the tricky thing with Argo Ham is that there are 3 different options for what you can get when you get here. Now, the group of Yetis is the one that you don't want. This means that when we go to Argo Ham, we won't get the specific combat encounter that we need in order to unlock the achievement. So what's unfortunate is that all the good RNG that we just got was for nothing. It just means that now we have to restart the adventure because no matter how many times we quit and reload this combat encounter, it's still always going to be the Yetis. There's nothing you can do about this. So unfortunately, you have to go over here and forfeit. Goodbye all my good RNG. And then you come back to Stormcloud's Winter and repeat this process until you actually get the RNG that you want. So yeah, boohoo. We're back and going back to Argo Ham. And let's see what we got. A band of trolls is attacking the village of Argo Ham. Oh boy. So let's load this in and then have the game freeze while it's loading and then finish loading so that we can see the correct cutscene. So this is the one that we want. There's a third option that has a bunch of trolls fighting some footmen inside of the town. We don't want that one. This is the specific one that we're looking for. And now, like I was saying before, I ended up getting the very low damage Witch Doctor. So this does 3 damage, and when I move him at all, this now does 2 damage. So what I'm going to do is purposefully position him up here, knowing that some enemies are going to show up later on, and use that to my advantage. So the main strategy for this is to take advantage of the Orc Cleaver's parry stance. And in order to do that effectively, you want to have all of your units move towards the right. This way, all of the enemies start coming to this middle part here. You see all of your units start off too far to the left, so some of them might start going around this way on the left here, and you don't want that at all. Now, on the first turn, you're going to end up just keeping all of your units and not using any skills, except for Gerald. You do want to use a skill for Gerald. I'm going to move him up here, and then cast Shield of Retribution on the Witch Doctor. The reason why this is important to do is because he's going to take some damage from a priest that spawns here later, and you want him to be ready to finish him off with his attack, because if he only deals 3 damage, then that priest is going to spawn into an abomination, and then good luck trying to beat the encounter in 4 turns with that enemy on the field. So you definitely want to tank some of the damage so that way you can force that enemy to have low enough HP that you can finish him off with the Witch Doctor afterwards. So that's the strategy. Now, let me come down here with the Bombardier. I'm going to come all the way down and then just attack this enemy with your attack here. But one thing that you definitely want to make sure you do... Oh man, that troll still moves over to the side. That's really unfortunate. But what can you do? So that priest has a good chance of spawning somewhere too close that I don't have a good spot for the Witch Doctor. So I'm just going to move him a little bit down, but not too far down, that he's close to getting hit by these other enemies here. So hopefully this is enough. Unfortunately, that troll did decide to go up after all, so that really sucks. Now let's see if he gets hit by these trolls here. Yep, there we go. So he took 3 damage, which meant that that troll dealt its maximum possible damage, but it's alright. And so here comes the Ice Rain, and of course it wastes the Shield of Retribution, so the strategy's kind of dead on arrival already. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to scroll up, so let's go back to Legends, wait for that to load. Oh yeah, these noises still happen even though I have the game muted, forgot about that. And then let's load up Stormcloud's Winter one more time. Yep, gotta go all this way back just to try this again. But at least we got the good RNG, so no worries with that. Okay, so skip this cutscene because we've seen it a million times. And this is slightly better RNG because I can move my leftmost units all the way to the right here, so that way I don't have to deal with all the enemies going the wrong way. So we can get them all nice and centered in the middle here. I'm actually going to move Gerald a little bit closer, so that way it can bait these enemies to go towards the middle, as opposed to going around on the right side. But there's a chance that that troll champion will go to the right. Luckily he didn't, so that's perfect. Now to move the bombardier down, I can attack this guy, so that's what I'll do. And let's move with the witch doctor. So this is the spot that I want to keep him at, but unfortunately, it could attract it could attract the wrong crowd. So I got to be very careful here. Let's move down with the Orc Cleaver and activate Parry Stance. So he's going to get hit by this troll, but that's okay. Now I can move Gerald down and then hit this troll here. Oh, and he did 8 damage. What a Giga Chad. So yeah, there we go. He's frozen. Now the tricky thing about Gerald being frozen is that his Aura of Soul won't be able to protect the Orc Cleaver. So you got to be very careful of that. So I'm going to move all the way down here now with the Bombardier. And I got to get her in position to use her Big Bada Boom ability. So here comes the enemies that I said we're going to spawn. Surprise! Yeah, there we go. And see, this is the tricky thing. Even though I try to get him as close to position as possible, he's still not in a good spot to deal with that Acolyte there. So here's what I got to do. I got to move, well, darn. I got to move a little bit. So I'm going to move back into position. Actually, no, I'm going to back up a little bit and then shoot this guy. So there we go. Then I'm going to move the Orc Cleaver down here, keep him in place. Then I'm going to move Gerald down and keep him right here. So now this troll, what's he called? Troll Chieftain is going to come over here, whack him with his stick. And the Orc Cleaver is still being buffed by the Aura of Soul, so that's perfect. He can double attack all of these guys. So now that enemy is buffed, so he's dealing a little bit of extra damage, but it's okay. The Orc Cleaver still took 0 HP damage because he's such a Giga Chad. Now here's the big thing. Put this ability right here in between the 2 Acolytes. This will guarantee that you kill the 2 of them and you don't have to deal with them anymore. Yep, get hit there. So now that deals with that Acolyte. So even though I wasn't able to get the Witch Doctor in position, I'm still able to wipe out that Acolyte there. And even better, this enemy, even though he went to 1 HP after getting hit, he can't transform. He has to do it at the start of his turn. So I'm free to finish him off and not have to deal with him anymore. So isn't that swell? So I'm just going to move down and hit him, right? And so now he's not protected by Gerald, but it's okay. Because this enemy deals 3 to 5 damage. So there's only a 1 in 3 chance of him getting killed, or of him breaking through the Orc Cleaver's armor. And sure enough, he didn't deal enough damage to actually bypass his armor. So now we can finish off this encounter, and that unit won't spawn here because there's a sorcerer that spawns at the start of round 4, and that's what the whole late to the party achievement is based off of, is that sorcerer not getting here in time. So there we go. That's my best guide for unlocking this achievement.